There you are. I was wondering if I'd have to go and save you again. Not that I would mind, I just hate seeing you get into trouble so often. It feels like every week that I'm pulling you out of a firefight, or trying to protect you from a collapsing building, or finding you as a hostage in some build-in hold-up situation. Honestly, sometimes I think you're doing it on purpose. Either that, or you're extremely prone to getting stuck in the wrong situation at the wrong time. And if that is the case, then I'm going to have to ask you to maybe not go outside the house in the next 2 weeks. I'm going on vacation and won't be here to save your accident-prone butt. Not that I don't trust the others to take care of you if something does go wrong, but... well, you know my stance on all that. I'd rather be around to make sure you're safe personally. Hmm? Oh, where am I going? A sweet question, but you know the rules. A secret identity wouldn't be one if I told you. Maybe you'll learn one of these days. Until then, though, let's stick to being just, work buddies. I mean, we only ever meet when I'm working, so that much would make sense. And I'd like to say we're friends. Well, I suppose I'm not really working right now, but I'm more or less giving your cute butt a tour of our hero facility. Headquarters, as some people would call it. Don't go telling other people that I got you one either. This is just because you had asked before, during that bank robbery 2 weeks ago. And since I have the time, I thought maybe you'd like to look a bit outside of the usual tour days. Yeah, there are tour days. Tuesday and Friday of the first week of every month. I thought it was a bit odd at first, having people pay to look around our facility and see the inner workings. I mean, how can we be so sure that a villain hasn't snuck into the general population and, I don't know, blended in to try and get some information? But apparently it boosts morale for both the heroes and the citizens, and it has something to do with the whole interpersonal relations or something like that. I'm still learning all the logistics. There's a lot more to being a hero than just saving people's lives, apparently. PR stuff, representatives, political investments, cooperation with the military, and the occasional scientific organization. I don't really understand all of that stuff. I mean, I'm learning slowly over time. I mostly do my part in helping at night, though. I mean, I still have a life outside being a hero that needs to be tended to, and I can't be spending all my time thinking about the logistical aspects of everything. Even so, all of this probably is starting to sound kind of boring. Let's start with all the cool stuff. First of all, close your eyes.
Welcome, Starfall.
Kidding, you didn't have to close your eyes. Our passwords change every day, and there's a DNA scanner tied to the keypad, so it's fairly unlikely someone who isn't supposed to get in will. Even explosives will barely touch the door here, or even the walls. I mean, the Heroes HQ is sort of the biggest building in the middle of the city, fairly obvious, and it's not like it's unusual for villains to try and attack directly. So you can bet your bottom dollar that the place has security measures to block practically anyone from entering, both exterior and interior damage. If you wanted to do damage to this place, you'd need enough explosions to, well, probably to level the whole town 3 times over. And even then, you'd have to trigger it from the inside, and you likely only destroy one part of the HQ. So it's really not worth it. What I'm trying to say is, you don't have to worry about being here. This is one of the safest locations in the entire city. So, where shall we start? We can head to the 4 designated training grounds. There's a cafeteria, one of my favorite spots to be. I always come by around 11 a.m. or so, when Apple stops by. She always heads to the kitchen and makes some kind of dessert. Occasionally, it's even got some of her powers baked into it, making it have beneficial effects to whoever eats it. She stops by here, grabs her partner, Cinnamon, and they both head out to the various homeless shelters, food banks, and more throughout the city to help in that way. They're not the flashiest of heroes, but you'll see them on the news almost every day, doing the same thing day in, day out. Honestly, it's super respectable. Maybe we can stop by the kitchen later and see if they left any food behind. Anyhow, besides that, we also have the outside areas, the gardens, the Hall of Fame. It's, mostly just pictures of the main heroes who run this operation. There's also the command center, the meeting room, the observatory. Heck, I'm probably forgetting half the places that we can probably visit. Where do you want to see first? Oh, you want to check out the command center. That's actually a great idea. There's security footage over there that can really help out with this whole tour thing. It can kind of give you a preview of the area and show you places you might want to check out in the future. Come on. There are a bunch of paths that lead to the command center throughout the base. This is only one of them. But with the place being mostly open concept, it kind of gives you access to everything you need from the command center. It almost acts like kind of a hub, you know? Like when you go to a train station and they have all those different paths leading to different trains. Just without the trains, obviously. The place is kind of separated into 7-ish areas. First, of course, is the command center. And everything that's adjacent to it. Kind of like the name, it's in the center. But connected to it, we have a briefing room used for meetings and strategy sessions, a communications hub, which is kind of for dispatch and global contact with other heroes throughout the world, and of course our war room. That one's for the big missions, high stakes planning type deal stuff, and only those with the highest security can enter. Mostly because there's a bunch of important stuff in there that we would rather the villains not know about. Can you go in there? As much as I would love to show you one of the most secure areas of the base, I'd rather not be punished by the higher-ups for it. I'm still a newbie, you know. I have to keep myself under a stricter set of rules than most of the other veterans around here, because I'm apparently still not very, trustworthy. It's not really much of an issue. I don't mind proving myself. Anyway, back to the tour? Here we are, the command center. As you can see, there's a bunch of stuff going on. Oh, and that guy over there? The one with the 6 arms? Yeah, try not to be too loud around him. He's sort of the boss of the tech around here. We call him Doc, though I don't think I trust him to do very much surgery on me. Even some of the lead heroes around here are kinda afraid to mess with him. But at least you can look. These security cameras are set up to view each section of the HQ on a revolving schedule, but there are enough monitors that no one room is left unchecked at any given point. They're split up into sections, much like the halls. Over here, and the hall to the north right of us, right, northeast, is the training and combat sections. We've got our basic combat area, a simulation room, obstacle course, power testing chamber, and, of course, the usual dojo/martial arts studio. It's a bit of something for every hero type, with varying areas for them to test their powers in. The most popular is the simulation room, of course. It's one of my favorites. Doc programmed it to be extremely realistic and never give you the exact same scenario twice. For instance, you could go into a burning building one day and be saving an underwater submarine the next. And even if you placed it in the same kind of situation, the circumstances are always different. Maybe there's a dog in the burning building, or a family, or maybe it's a villain who lured you in there and you need to figure out how to get yourself out before the place collapses. It's got some fancy integrated network that lets you feel everything too. Though you don't really need to worry about being permanently injured. The worst you could get is a bruise or two. I'm sorry, I know you're not gonna like my answer, but. Well, I want to let you take it for a spin, but the last time that happened, we nearly got sued by a politician for breaking his pinky. It was already broken before he went in, but, trying to keep the peace or whatever. Yeah, I know. Most of the really cool things around here aren't accessible to tourists, or civilians. But tell you what, maybe I can bring you another time and we can test it out together. Say it was, a hero in training kind of thing. That is if we get caught. Which, hopefully, we wouldn't. Right. Secret sneaking into the simulation area later. The next place of interest, and sections of camps, would be the research and development area. That's down the hall to our north left. Or, northwest. Yeah, I still need to think about it. Don't make fun of me. Anyhow, as you can see, the monitors in this area are split up into 5 sectors. The main laboratory, the engineering workshop, the medical research lab, the forensic lab, and of course, the armory. Why we keep all of our weapons next to the scientists and explosives, I don't really know. But like I said, this place is pretty reinforced, so it's never too big a problem. Most that happens is when some of our more scientific-based heroes complain about weapon testing in the room next to them while they're trying to work. Can't say I blame them. That is what the last sector we talked about is for. Anyhow, that area is where most of our fancy new gadgets are being built, medical advancements are being made, and criminal evidence is processed. We might be heroes, but we still have to follow due process most of the time. Plus, having our own space over here really helps when we have sponsors visiting from out of state. Usually it's other doctors, scientists, or engineers from outside the city who come to share their ideas with each other. It's pretty nerdy, and a lot of technical knowledge that I can't really process properly. But it's fun to watch their little concoctions and inventions being tested. Over to our east, we have our medbay and recovery sector. You'll notice there are a lot more monitors in that area, mostly because we have the whole superheroes not letting their wounds heal before heading back into the fight issue. I spend a lot of my time over there when I'm not chasing down bad guys or putting civilians out of bad situations. Of course, we have the medbay and the infirmary. Then there's the surgery section, which occasionally hosts civilians in critical condition, or important figures, such as, the president, as well as heroes. There's a little recovery suite area. The rooms there are actually kind of comfortable. Not that I spend a lot of time in their recovery rooms. I just know a thing or two about them. Like I said, I spend time in that section of the HQ because of my healing abilities. They only really work at night, but I still help out where I can. Like in the therapy room. No, I don't do the therapy, or take it. But I do help make the atmosphere a bit calmer for supers to be able to sort through that stuff. I mean, if there's anything to believe from those silly comics out there, it's that a lot of superheroes have some deep trauma. And we have people to help for that. The last section, people don't really like talking about the last part of the medical area, mostly because of what it stands for. If you have to go there, it's only because of one thing. Because somehow, some way, you lost control of your powers and it got someone hurt. It's a sort of stabilization room, where you go through the steps of relearning how to use your abilities. In the past, heroes who lost control were often ostracized, or cast out of cities they were protecting. I get it, trust me, I do. I wouldn't want someone who didn't know how to control themselves to protect me. This room sort of gives them a chance to come back into it, to prove they're not reckless, that they have control. Still, if you hear of a hero who had to go there, there are some rough connotations that are attached to it, hence why we don't really talk about it. On a lighter note, over here to our left, the west, we have our living area. Yeah, so a lot of heroes who don't patrol, or do patrol, often spend their time parked up here. And sometimes people stay here 24/7. Again, an area that most civvies aren't allowed in, just because you never really know when a hero might be walking around at a costume over there. It's not common. Most heroes are smarter than that. But it's better safe than sorry. We got personal living quarters, with plenty of rooms, a common room where people can just hang out and relax, a personal kitchen, not the same as the one I told you before, a recreation room, and of course the gardens and rooftop relaxation spaces. A bunch of super neat activities are over there. Swimming, bowling, pool, TV nights, you name it, we probably have it. Many of it's thanks to our engineers and tech wizards who built the place to begin with. It's one of the better spaces within the HQ, because when you're there you feel less like you're with coworkers and more like you're with family. An extremely dysfunctional family at times that fights a lot, but still a family. It's one of the reasons I asked to join this group in particular. I actually moved from my hometown to this city just to get the chance. If you ever get an idea, I'd love to show you that area. Right, on to the next. Southeast of us, down the hallway, and as shown as the monitors over here, is the logistics and infrastructure sector. Over there is where we also keep the fun toys, the fancy vehicles. We have a vehicle bay, of course, and also a hangar for the fun flying ones. All sorts of cool stuff over there, honestly. Jets, bikes, dropships, armored cars. You're gonna love seeing all of those. Of course, we also got our storage and supply rooms over there, and the maintenance area. Well, yeah, the engineers already have a space, but it kinda already started using all of it, and required extra space to work on our cars and such when some villain inevitably tries to blow them up. It happens a lot more than you would think, even if you already think it happens a lot. We also have a detention center over there, and directly next to it, a second security station. Trust me, I get it. We take it pretty seriously around here. Honestly, it's just how it is. And it makes me feel a bit safer knowing we have multiple eyes on it just in case one goes down. I'd say the vehicles are the coolest part in that area, but every part of the HQ was built for some purpose. Including, sadly, this last section and my least favorite. To our southwest is the last area of the base that isn't underground. It's our public outreach area where we deal with the politicians, newsletters, things like that. That's where the museum is set up, right beside the media and press room, and of course the community's supports office. Don't get me wrong, I love having connection to the people we save. I mean, it's part of the reason I'm talking to you right now. But sometimes I feel like the other heroes, and even civilians, focus on the wrong aspects of the act itself. It's about saving lives, about making sure we feel comfortable enough to walk out at night. That civilians don't fear villains because they know someone will be there to help. The people we save should always be our number one priority, not museums, not publicity stunts, not fame. I never joined this group to be famous, despite how it affects my abilities. I joined to make a difference. I feel that's why 80% of the heroes today joined as well. But when we have places like that in our headquarters, and we're constantly comparing ourselves to other heroes, setting up arbitrary ranking systems, and trying to place at the top, well, then we forget why we're really here. Sorry. I don't mean to get all philosophical on you there, if that's even the right word to use in this situation. I just have a lot of opinions on the matter, you know? Anyhow, we should start actually looking around now. I've spent way too long telling you about the different areas you can visit and not enough time actually showing you them. So, come on, let's start with the training area. I feel like you're going to love it. This way. Thank you all so much for 1,000 subscribers. It's been a pleasure making videos for you, and I have a lot more to come. So, if you're not already, feel free to subscribe and like to show your support, and you'll see more of me coming soon. Much love, my little starlights.